Chaos Zero Nightmares launch date has officially been announced, October 22nd. When the playtest went up, a lot of people noticed that in the iOS App Store it said October 15th, I think, for when the game was going to release. So this is 1 week after that, and not a long delay, just one extra week, which is nice, just more time for them to fix things and update things and whatnot. So I've got a little trailer down here. Official launch October 22nd. You can watch the trailer on their YouTube channel if you want. And then besides the trailer, there's also going to be another developer commentary video in early October, which they mentioned. And here they'll be talking about the business model, which is just the gacha systems, pretty much. This was a very common complaint, especially among Korea, from what I could see in the angry YouTube comments. They do not like the 50-50 system over there, and neither do I, to be honest. I think 50-50s just feel really bad when you're rolling. It never feels good to, like, 50-50s make you feel bad more than you feel good more often of the time, just because you're going to remember the losses more than you remember the wins. And I also think it just makes it... My take on 50-50s is I always felt like ever since Genshin started it, like from the first week, like the first day, really, I looked at the 50-50s and I was like, this exists just to make it hard to tell how close you are to pity. And then the average player is going to think that they're closer to pity than they are, or that, well, I'm actually pretty close to pity, but it's not a pity, it's a coin flip, so you're not really close to pity. So I felt like it was just a very predatory thing in the first place, and only ever designed to get money from people who don't really know any better. So we'll see if they decide to change it. They might just talk about the income for the game, because they could have 50-50s with really high incomes. It's only the combatant banner that has 50-50s, the limited banner doesn't. Also, with the lifespan of some of these games, they've had some sort of QOLs for the banners, like Wuthering Waves lets you buy character imprints in the shop instead of the standard partners like Chaos Zero Nightmare does. They could make it both. I know Honkai Star Rail has started adding very, very, very old characters to the standard pool where you can swap some of them out. Now you can have Zere, Blade, and Fushun in the standard pool. You can swap out some losers like Yanqing or something. So that could be something. We'll see if whatever they want to do. For game systems, this might just be stuff like Zero System. We didn't really get to see much of, and we didn't get to see much about gear farming, so maybe they'll talk a bit about that. There were also a lot of complaints about the character enhancement material gathering. Felt like it was taking very, very long, especially for weekly domains. And then balance and design is probably what I'm most interested in, more than the gacha even, because to me the gacha is not as big of a deal as how bad the power creep is going to be. Even a PvE game is going to have power creep. Honkai Star Rail did it through introducing new mechanics. You had to play break no matter what for like a full year, and not having Firefly just made the game a lot more annoying in my opinion. Like, yes, it was doable, but you could have done it with your eyes closed if you had Firefly. So stuff like that, we'll see what they're going to do with the game going forward. They're going to talk about it a little bit. And also they'll be addressing some of the feedback during the limited playtest. So that's going to be exciting. We'll see what they talk about. And because it's early October and this launches in like a month, there's only going to be a couple of weeks between this and the launch. So we got a lot of stuff coming soon. And then also, one thing about the playtest is that we were actually on an older build, which some people will say, well, why was that a thing? I think it's because they wanted a stable build that, one, didn't have any of the limited characters in it, and also didn't have the Zero System plus gear systems active. So this might have just been like the most recent build that didn't have those things. But the big thing is that in the new build, there are a lot of things that were already fixed. One of the most major complaints was that when you're playing cards, there's certain effects on them that you can't see. Like, you have to just know what the card does. One of them, for example, Tressa here, has Agony. And you can see now, when you select the card, here you go, when you select the card, there is a little window for it. Agony. This is from the Proto Genesis video, by the way. This is really old. So even, they've had this for a while. It was just the playtest was on a very, very old build. But you can see the description for Agony. You can see exactly what it does completely. And then, I think that one also had one. even basic stuff like, oh here, vulnerable, damage taken increases by 50%. So being able to see all of that is nice. Wave was something that took me a while to figure out. You get 3 stacks to get 1 AP. And you'll also notice that some of the cards just have different names entirely. If I can find the Epiphany section here. Nope, this is not Epiphanies. Here we go. La Vie en Grace? Gra? La Vie en Gra? Or whatever. But this was not what this card was called in the playtest. I don't remember what it was called, but it definitely wasn't this. So there's going to be a lot of changes compared to what we saw during the playtest, which I'm looking forward to. I would expect them to largely be improvements. I don't know if we can see. So here we can see like a little bit of Haru, I guess. But also a completely new mob. So yeah, there's going to be a lot to look forward to in the coming weeks.